Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Junk Prototype, episode 67, recording on Thursday, June 24th, 2021. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name's Andrew.
And a bit of a mixed bag episode today. We're really struggling for topics. Sean brought the heat with, he wants to get into this Blue Box Studios, which we touched on previously. And we'll maybe get into some God of War rage relating to it launching on PS4 as well. I don't think these are stories. These are kind of cluckbait to me, but Sean really wants to dig into them. So, and to be honest, it's nothing else to talk about. So
yeah, I mean, it's obviously a slow week after E3, and if it's a shorter episode, hey, we gave you a longer one last week. So
I'm wearing
we always say that.
Blues today. Ready to go. Talk some PlayStation. So let's get into the first story. We talked about this a while ago. This game called Abandoned was rumored. It said, I remember the first article. Is this a Kojima game? Now, why anyone would think that out of nowhere immediately said to me, it probably is a Kojima game. And I didn't want to talk about it because either one, they're saying it is when it isn't, or it is and it's just like viral marketing bullshit, which I don't care about. But this week, that case strengthened a great deal. I didn't really pay attention to it. Sean and Andrew were filling me in on the details before the show, so let's get into the crazy coincidences of Blue Box Games and Abandoned.
Yeah, well, so I mean, when it first started, from what I remember, people just thought, well, first of all, like, what's Kojima working on? I think people thought the look of the game kind of resembled PT in some way. I don't really know if there's much there, but yeah, it was just that, and like the fact that it was on PlayStation, somehow people started making the connection. But then there's some weirder things that came out, right? And it's definitely possible that it's a viral marketing thing. I will say up front, I think it seems like they are kind of inadvertently doing this, which is the crazy part to me. Like, I don't think it's...
Look, Sean, either one... Okay, so let's get into the number one thing you told me before the podcast.
Yes, and this is the thing that a lot of people are talking about. So the guy who owns the company, Hassan Karaman, apparently if you take his last name and you put it into Google Translate, I'm trying to find what language it actually is, but apparently it translates to Kojima, which is like, what? Like, how is that even a thing on Google Translate? Now,
okay, so my first thought is it's obviously one of the two cases we've already discussed. One, if you're making a game and you want to get noticed, which is it's very hard to do, maybe you change your name to be the translation of Kojima so people look it up, or you pick a name or something like that. Like you do the opposite. Like we're assuming it's Kojima putting it in. What if you did the opposite and picked a name that Kojima translates to?
Okay, I got it backwards. So you put Karaman in Turkish, it translates to Hideo.
Okay.
Still a little weird.
Sure. And so it could be either of the two things, but that doesn't necessarily... I mean, it supports both theories. One, it's a company trying to like piggyback off of potentially being associated with Kojima to get exposure to a game, or it is a Kojima game. Still perfectly viable to me. What else we got?
So they put out some tweets that seem like they're kind of playing into the rumors. So there was one that from back in, this was this month, so June 15th. So the tweet's been deleted, which is again like another, what does that mean? But it said, guess the name, Abandoned equals first letter S, last letter L. And people are already assuming that Kojima's working on a secret Silent Hill game. So people immediately were like, it's Silent Hill. Now, I don't know if they ever revealed what the answer to that part was. Obviously, the tweet got deleted. So, I mean, you could just say they're just straight up like trolling people. But then they also put out another tweet, just kind of like, where is it now? So like this is just like a weird, like it feels like it's an ARG game or something where they're like getting people to look up weird cryptic things. It says company fact, blue doesn't refer to the color, it refers to something else. Can you guess it? So blue in Blue Box Games.
And then it's ELUE is an acronym, right?
Yeah, and so but then when they reveal what the acronym is, it's like the weirdest thing ever, and it's like best level user experience. So if you're saying that's actually what you named your company, how you came up with your company name, that's bizarre.
I think was because it's Blue Box Studios. Is that why people were speculating that it's like a Sony exclusive thing, and Kojima has a long-standing partnership with Sony for the most part?
Yes, I think that's part of it as well. Now, there was a video that came out today, or no, this was a couple days ago, of Hassan Karaman, who actually appeared on camera and basically said, I have nothing to do with Hideo Kojima. This is not a Silent Hill game. And, you know, you would think that that would just put an end to it. But, you know, people are like, oh, he's an actor. Like, anything's possible. And I have to admit, I do, you know, Frank apparently hates viral marketing stuff. But when it's done well, I'm like, hats off. This is, you know, getting people talking about a little indie game that nobody would care about. And I think that's cool.
What was the Matrix website?
Enterthematrix.com.
Yeah, you're in. This is
Exactly.
But I mean, I'm fine with it, I guess. I like evaluating news, and I like announcements and saying whether I think it looks good or not. I mean, at this point, it's what I've seen of the game is nothing. It was a real-time tech demo that lasted 30 seconds. So, I would obviously be more excited, or maybe not more excited, but I mean, any new Kojima project is interesting. But if it just looks like the same thing with Kojima's name behind it, I'm not really vibing with that either until we see some gameplay.
Yeah, and a lot of people were pointing out just that, you know, Kojima appeared during the Summer Game Fest kickoff thing, but he didn't really have anything to promote. And it seemed kind of weird, right? I mean, I guess technically, yes, he did, but...
It's more than a tweet with an acronym for a title. It's a director's cut for a game coming to PlayStation 5. I'd say that's more substantial at this point than what we're talking about.
Maybe. The whole conversation with him was a lot of nothing for the most part. So,
well, he really had to change the way he thinks about... I remember hearing that about 200 times.
Yes. So the other weird thing is that they're saying there's going to be something tomorrow. So apparently they have some kind of app that is going to like reveal a trailer for the game or something. I don't know why it has to be done through an app. Like it sounds
like it's an actual downloadable runtime environment that you can, you know, use. I think they were hyping DualSense controls as well. So I think that's the idea. Now, as soon as I saw playable real-time demo or trailer, I mean, that's kind of a playable trailer in a way. I mean, I'm almost, let's say 95% certain.
So you're in on this. You actually believe all this.
If I had to bet right now, and I'll take bets from either of you if you'd like, that Kojima is involved in this project or will be revealed to be involved at some point.
Well, and the other thing is, like, when have you seen this done before? Like, do you think this small nobody studio is just going to get like PlayStation is just going to let them put on this custom app that like reveals something special to them? Like,
yeah,
come on.
Breaks, like, is there trophies for this? Like, it kind of breaks the whole...
Yeah. That is suspect.
Exactly. And the money that it takes to do that as well is also like, okay, this is not your average studio. And I actually, if it is, and they're doing this, I really do have to, you know, say hats off to them, because like to get this kind of attention for a game, that's a cool idea. Now, when I hear it's a walking around tech demo, there's going to be hidden messages. They're going to like that's all this is going to be. It's another piece of the puzzle. So don't expect for unless that you find Kojima somewhere in the game, but it's going to be more cryptic messages that allude to Kojima or help decipher this stuff. And I mean, that's fine. Will I download it? That's a good question, Frank. I will download it. And, PT's worth a lot of cash if you have a console with it. So might as well hedge my bets and download this thing.
So I forgot one other little bit, which is that Konami recently launched out of nowhere an online merchandise shop specifically for Silent Hill merchandise. Like there's a Twitter account, official Konami shop, and a couple days ago they had a tweet that said coming soon and it had an image, and now the shop is up and you can buy like Silent Hill skateboards and stuff, and it's just like, what? Like it would be a crazy coincidence if all this stuff is happening at once and it's not connected. But at the same time, it's just the way it's being put out there is so strange that I'm like, it doesn't feel like a corporate viral marketing thing. Like usually they're a little more obvious with how they do things. There's a little bit more of a plan there.
I'm trying to be objective by projecting subjectivity. So I'm trying to think of a filmmaker or a video game developer that I would be on board for this for. Like if it was someone I loved and I love their games, like, can you think of who that would be for me? I can't. That's why I don't think I actually do like this stuff, because I can't think of a single name that I would be buying into this cryptic marketing stuff. I'm trying to think. If it was the person, would I care? And would I be following this? And I don't think
who's your Christopher Nolan or James Cameron of the video game world?
But that I even thought of it like that. I mean, we had Tenet posters, that motion graphic poster, and it made me want to barf. Like I don't buy into that stuff.
True.
Anyway, we'll see. I hope it's PlayStation exclusive. Want my team to win.
Well, I think it's pretty neat if they are actually doing this, like, what do they call this? An AR? It's not AR, but it's ARG. ARG, because it kind of reminds me of what was that, Frog Fractions 2? How it was like hidden within another game. That was like a neat little thing to follow along as it happened. And I think this, especially once like people started thinking it was Kojima, you got to just go all in. Like, this is your marketing key right now. You got to be all in, because these guys probably have very little money. Now they're probably getting approached by publishers. They're probably laughing now. And if they just keep this thing rolling, they'll probably actually be able to make this game profitable.
Well, if I'm correct, they do have a lot of money. But I like that idea. Remember how PT was unplay? Like, you can't find it anymore. People want to play it. What if they actually just committed to making PT? What if PT is inside this demo tomorrow? It's just like a shell to play a new version, PS5 enhanced version of PT.
PT remastered.
But it's inside this other demo.
That'd be amazing.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I hope something
like
happens
the
tomorrow.
environment that was presented is generic enough that it literally could be that. It's just like a scene. It's a diorama basically that you walk around, and they could be hiding something else in that thing, and you get teleported into the PT demo or something.
I mean, I guess the other thing though, like on the flip side of this, you could probably piss off a lot of people. You keep pushing this and putting things out there, and then it ends up not being a Silent Hill game. Yes, you've got some attention, but are you actually going to sell more copies of your game? I don't know. You got to have the goods to back it up. So it could backfire.
Yes, I agree. And for that reason, I'm moving on. Next, God of War. I didn't even know about this. Sean is way more on the pulse than I am these days. So they announced it's coming, or it's going to be compatible with PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5. This was actually a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before E3, so we're a little late on this, but
and people are upset about that from what you've told me. I'm really not that aware of it.
Yeah, so I mean, I hadn't seen too much, but then like a couple people mentioned it, I think in the comments or something, and then I actually did see a couple articles about this. So yeah, so they announced that the game's getting delayed, and they announced at the same time it's coming to PS4. And you know, to me, that's like okay. I mean, I guess I kind of assumed that might be the case, but they just never really said for sure. And I mean, the point where they're at right now, like PS5s are still extremely hard to come by. So it's hard to think that, I mean, I guess we don't know exactly when it's coming out yet, but by the time this comes out, will there be enough PS5s out there? I'm not sure. So it seems like a smart move from that perspective, but people are kind of pissed. And I guess the reasoning goes either that having to make it compatible with the PS4 is somehow going to hurt the optimal version of the game on the PS5. Like they're going to have to dumb down the graphics in some way. That PS5 version is not going to be as cutting edge as it would have been if it was PS5 exclusive. And then the other thing, which I find kind of even weirder, to be honest, but like people are mad that if they bought a PS5 because they wanted to play God of War and they went out of their way to get like a PS5, like maybe they bought it off eBay or something, I don't know, something crazy. And now they find out, oh, well, I'm going to be able to play this on the PS4 anyway. And now they're like, why did I get a PS5? Now I feel like I've been swindled.
Don't tell people who bought a Series X. Holy shit, they're really going to have nothing exclusive to play. I don't understand this at all. Like, to me, my first thought is they probably made the God of War engine on PS4, and like the turnaround time for the sequel was so short that it makes sense to me, I guess, in some way, the same way Horizon makes sense to me from the same perspective. So not shocked at all, not really concerned. I don't know. I don't have a lot of thoughts on this.
Yeah, I could see people being upset just because they wanted like a next gen experience, quote unquote. But obviously, with, like Frank was saying, with the engine already working on PS4, it just kind of makes sense that they would have a PS4 version as well, since it's going to work. Or it should work, you'd think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know enough about it, but I don't feel like that's going to hurt the PS5 version personally. Like, it doesn't seem like that should be the case. Like, yes, maybe you have some resources you need to devote to getting it running for the PS4 optimally, but like, just throw some extra people at that. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, and then you can always continue to make the PS5 version better through updates and stuff like that. So, the install base is there. This happens all the time in the first year or two of a console. Like, this is not a new thing. So, especially, was part of this announcement that it's coming out this year or not? Or it's been delayed to 2022, right?
Yeah. They haven't given a date, just 2022, I believe.
I mean, maybe it was their intention to launch it in 2021 the whole time. And then, it's a little more complicated, but whatever. Who cares? Non-story.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it for news? I think so.
Yeah, not too much else going on right now.
All right. Well, let's get into what we played. Huck, you want to go first?
Sure. I tried a couple Xbox, what do you call them? Xbox Game Pass games. That's what they're called. I tried Maneater, the shark game. Now, did one of you guys play this already? I can't remember.
I did.
Okay. So I played the first kind of area. I thought it was kind of fun. Just like swim around as a shark, eat people, level up. I don't know. I don't know. Nothing really grabbed me as far as like wanting to go on next and play more. But I did really like the presentation of it. How it kind of was like almost like some weird reality show where you're kind of going after this like specific human that is like hunting sharks and stuff. I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it and how it didn't take itself too seriously. It was kind of just a big joke. I did like that. And then I played, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago too, Backbone. I played a little bit more of that. I played through Act 1. I started on Act 2. And I am enjoying it, but there's a lot of text, a lot of kind of walking around, and I'm getting the feeling after getting into the second act that you're basically playing this for, I guess, the story, but also the graphics and just how good it looks, because there's a lot of really custom animations that go on, and the game looks incredible. I really like the pixel art style of it, but there is a lot of talking, and I get the feeling like a lot of these adventure games like this could just use an editor to just cut off maybe like half the dialogue to make it go just a little bit faster. There's a lot of like fluff text you got to click through, which always is the killer. Leads me actually into the last thing I tried, which was the Norco demo, which is on Steam. So Norco was one of the games we talked about last week in the E3 coverage. It is also a text adventure. Text adventure, point-and-click adventure. But actually, it's set in, I think, Norco, Illinois or something like that. It is really got a neat, I wouldn't say art style, but the art style is pretty neat. But it also gives me really strong Snatcher vibes. Just kind of a very similar art style to Snatcher. But they do a lot of not perspective shifting, but like, you know where they put the text? Normally it's like just at the bottom. Well, this game will like almost has like shutters that come in and they kind of change where the viewport is. And then they'll like put the text on the left hand of the screen, and then they're like a shutter will come in almost like a draw screen or something, and then it'll put the text on the right side of the screen, and then the image you have to deal with is on the top, and then they might put it on the bottom. So there is some unique kind of like camera things they're doing, which is just a presentation, which is really interesting. There's a lot of little like camera movement. So I don't know if you guys noticed when we were watching like the Replaced trailer, there's like a lot of, I think we talked about, there's a lot of like camera motion on that game. And with this game
on Z, which is very like not common in a 2D game, right? Like they were really built and shit like that.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't really rotate as much. This is definitely just like a 2D game, but they do a lot of like almost as if it was like shaky cam of the view screen. It's not just like a traditional kind of like static image. There's a lot of like zoom in on like from certain aspects of the picture to reveal more. And I don't know, it was interesting, but a lot of talking, like even more than Backbone. So, and the demo, I believe, is just the first chapter or whatever. And I did not really get the point of it. Like you come home and your mother has died, and that's really all the information you get. And then they could just kind of set you loose in this house, and nothing. It doesn't seem like you have an inventory, so you don't really like pick anything up. The only thing you have is they called it a mind map, which really reminded me of a Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium had this sort of like menu based, I guess almost like a mind thing where you're inside your head, like doing upgrading little things in your thing. And this had a similar thing where you have like certain aspects of, I guess, your mind somehow. People, you're remembering memories, and you're kind of remembering certain things about people. So there's like an icon for you, an icon for your brother, an icon for your mom, and then I unlocked an icon for like some random dude that you saw. So it was really strange. I didn't really understand where it was going with that. So I don't know. I'm less intrigued after playing the demo just because of how much text there was, but I did really, really like the art style and the presentation in general of it.
Yeah, I didn't check out the demo. I did download it, but that was one of the things in the trailer that intrigued me, just that it didn't seem like it was a very, like, most sort of point and click adventure games, it's a very fixed GUI, and like things happen within there and there's buttons and it's just very fixed. But this seemed like it was more experimental in how it's presenting all the action to you, and that seemed unique.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is.
Cool.
And that's it for me. That's all I tried.
All right, Sean, we getting into Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart?
Yeah, we could talk about it. I mean, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know if, we're talking maybe we could do like a full review in the near future, but
maybe next week. So I don't want to talk too much about it.
Yeah.
But we know how I feel. It's my game of the year so far. The third substitution, possibly fourth. But Sean, what do you think?
Well, I'm really enjoying it as well. I did find, and I have kind of been finding for the most part, it's not a game that like I'm hooked on and I just keep playing and playing and playing. Like I'll play for an hour or so and then I'll be like, okay, that's good. I'll take a break. And I don't know if it's because
on that one.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's just because there's so much action. Like it's kind of nonstop in that sense, which is cool. But it's just like, I don't know, maybe a bit much at times. But I guess the other thing is like, I feel like the story and the dialogue and stuff is actually like not good. And I don't know if I just...
Short, that's what I love about it. No video game dialogue is good. So I'd rather it's short and kind of visually impressive. It's perfect.
Yeah, I just found that like a lot of the dialogue is just stating obvious stuff constantly, and it was almost annoying me. But like I agree, like it doesn't really affect the gameplay. It's not overly long, and I felt like maybe I was missing out on some bits and pieces of things just because I haven't played a ton of other Ratchet and Clank games. So I don't know if the mythology behind some of this stuff, I'm lacking some context, but. Like, I honestly, right now, I don't think I could tell you what the story is in this game. It's just kind of all over the place. But, that being said...
For Resident Evil Village?
Well, Resident Evil Village is also a mess, but I at least was intrigued.
My point that you probably couldn't tell me any video game story. What's the story to Cyberpunk?
You get left for dead, and...
From there.
You're trying to work your way. Well, I mean, you witness a murder, and then you kind of get pulled into a conspiracy. But
I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking all video game stories and the ability to retain them.
I just think, on a moment-to-moment basis, story is important in terms of giving you a reason to like what's going to happen next. I want to keep playing because I want to see what's next. And Ratchet and Clank, that's just not there. Like it's like when I put it on, I know it's going to be fun. The gameplay is solid, a lot of fun, different weapons, and that's what Ratchet and Clank's known for. So and it looks amazing, like absolutely amazing. But
it's almost that I was going to do a hot take for Ratchet and Clank. We've kind of gotten to the point where video games look too good. And to speak to one of your criticisms with Spider-Man. Like in the world not being populated enough, another Insomniac game. Like it is too realistic. Like the visual language of being able to see like what is relevant to your gameplay path and versus what's just dressing for a level. It's getting hard to separate those things. And I think that is like an important thing in games. Like it's part of the visual language and how you direct a player through a level. So the closer we get to like this perfect photorealistic world, like lighting becomes way more important, and like how you guide the player through a path is really important. And if I was going to have one criticism of this game, it's so minor. At times, if it wasn't for me being able to push in the right stick and know where I'm supposed to go, I wouldn't necessarily know where I'm supposed to go next. And that is the smallest of nitpicks for a game that, as you said, is full of action, always changing up the pace. The puzzle solving elements and mini games are amazing. Like I love the Lemmings-esque robot puzzles. I love you go into this like robot hacking mini game that's a little different. It's just a nice change up. It's constantly changing pace, changing what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing exactly how you play, Sean, but if you're finding it's just action all the time, like whenever I got to a planet, I would explore it to the best of my ability before I moved on to the next one. I wasn't just going through story. So that was a detriment to a game like Ghost of Tsushima. That's to me probably why I enjoy this game more than you. Like, I do the action, then I look around, I find the gold bolts, or, do something else, look for the other dimensions. But it is exactly a condensed, focused, well-paced AAA experience that is entertaining with a capital E. And that's what I'm looking for from a game all the time, and that's exactly what this is. It is perfect.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that it's my game of the year at this point, but it's really good. I mean, it is a system seller in my opinion. It's PS5 exclusive, and if you can get your hands on one, it's worth it for this game, I would say.
And it's really like Resident Evil Village. Same amount of time, 10, 12 hours-ish, depending on how much you do, and it's just a great game to play through beginning to end. And of course, I'm ecstatic that games are going in this direction. Like, this is what I want. So it is a selfish wish, but it's coming true nonetheless.
I think it could just be that it's the beginning of a new console cycle, so you're getting some shorter games right now, and the longer ones are coming. But
yeah, Miles Morales, Bug Snacks, like, I finish every one of these games, and I'm at a great place with that game when I'm done. I'm like, that was awesome. I told Sean I was ready to play through Ratchet and Clank again. I literally had to pull myself away. I'm like, whoa. What are you doing, dummy? You're going to play a game for fun? Like, there's a trophy patch coming. They're going to have New Game Plus. They're going to have probably a challenge mode trophies. Like, don't be playing this until you know what those requirements are. Like, it's completely wasted, useless time. So I'm looking forward to a trophy DLC or something like that so I can play through it again, and I will.
Okay. Cool.
I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission on normal mode.
Intergrade?
Hard mode today. Sorry?
Isn't it Intergrade?
Intergrade is the name of the game. The DLC is called Intermission.
Oh.
I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure. Intergrade is the game. DLC is Intermission. And I think it's a clever play on words. It's an intermission with a different character. And
okay, I get it.
The naming I love. I know it's confusing, but it's clever to me, and it fits the themes and narrative ideas, or what they're attempting to do with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, my game of the year last year, and I think it should have been more people's, to be perfectly honest. And this game still looks amazing. Like, the lighting on PS5 is ridiculous. I love this game. I cannot wait for more of it. If anything, I would say this Intermission is kind of lackluster. Like, the areas and what you're doing is kind of bonus mission or optional mission level stuff in the first game. It's not that exciting. But I do like the cool thing with this game, even not the expansion, is, each character has their own play style, and you're learning how to use them, unlocking stuff, and it's like switching between characters becomes fun because you want to kind of figure out how to use them effectively or in combination. And they introduced a new idea with Yuffie where it's like, it's this kind of hybrid way of playing, because in the original or the base game, you need ranged versus local attacks, you need elemental skills, and Yuffie you're playing by yourself. So now it's like, how do we combine all those ideas into one character? And it does it really well. And it's a fun character to learn how to play. So I think that's the best thing about it. The actual missions and narrative, not fantastic, but I will finish this on hard, hopefully. And I got to figure out what game I'm moving on to next. That is the question.
Do you think when they bring all the characters back together, that because she can do close and ranged attack, that she will be kind of like the go-to person to play as?
I was thinking about that. I mean, I don't know if she will officially join the party, but I mean, you do get a second member to play with. Like, it's actually a 2-person party, but you can really only control or move the one. But I think it's kind of nerfed in a way that I think it would work with the other ones. It allows you to do everything, but it's certainly not overpowered in either regard. So I could see I could see them going either way, to be perfectly honest.
Also, does it expand on the story at all, or does it kind of take place during the Final Fantasy VII Remake timeline?
I don't remember where the remake starts exactly, but it's before. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but before the plate falling.
Okay. So it's way before the end.
Kind of a prequel kind of thing, but not. It might be simultaneous. Actually, yeah, you see. I think it's simultaneous to some degree.
Okay, so it's way before kind of like the craziness at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think you see the origins of some of that stuff as well, and
okay,
it's pretty good. Not amazing, but a good excuse to play some more of this game.
So I got one other thing I can kind of mention. I went back under the visor because I got an Oculus Quest 2 this week, which you guys have talked about a bit, and so couple things. Like, so I tried out. The first thing I was curious to do was to sort of compare and see like if my PC can actually run some of these games with the Link. And they have AirLink built into the OS now, right, for Oculus. So it's not even like, I guess at one point it was like an experimental feature. And I know, Huck, you talked about the virtual desktop app.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't turned it on a long time. I haven't updated or anything, so I don't even know. When I did it, I had to. I'm pretty sure like do something to connect it one time with the cable, and then after that I could do over the air. But I can't remember if it was like another app I had to buy or if it was. Yeah, it was through the virtual desktop. Yeah, it was through the virtual desktop. That's how I had to do it, which was like $30 or something to buy.
Right. So I haven't picked that up yet, and I was able to play with the Air Link, and it worked pretty well. I was kind of impressed. I guess, it was a little bit choppy initially, but then I switched to my 5G network, and then it was fine. But so then, so today I picked up Half-Life Alyx on the Steam sale, and I actually tried playing it with the cable because I just bought one of those 10 feet USB-C cables. And I was worried, didn't know, because my PC is right at the low end of the minimum requirements. But it was running fine. Like, I mean, I'm sure it looks way better on a better computer, but I was still impressed. Like, to me, already it's probably the best looking VR game I've seen, just in terms of the detail and the environments and stuff. And just, like, I was just walking around looking at everything, and just, like, that alone was amazing.
Did you pick up the, like, markers and write on the window?
Oh, yeah. You got to do that.
Good.
But
glad I wasn't the only one.
I just got to the part where basically you get your gun and the wrist things that let you pick up things, and that was pretty fun. And like, I can already see that that's going to be a cool mechanic. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it more, and just happy that I'm able to play it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like, just been playing around with some other things. I did pick up Puzzle Bobble VR.
I played it today. I went back under the visor because you got one. I was trying to add you as a friend, and I had to re-merge my Facebook account. Such a pain in the Now, I just did it now. That's what I was looking at on my phone. So I've successfully added you as a friend on Oculus. And
beautiful.
I played a bit of Puzzle Bobble today. It was okay. But I was, again, immediately impressed with the technology. And like, I threw it on my bed. It saw like the floor, like the bed as the floor, and it was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah, and that's like this game, Puzzle Bobble VR. I mean, if you haven't played the Puzzle Bobble games, it's basically you're just shooting colored bubbles to match them up, and eliminate all the bubbles in the level. And this is a 3D version of it. Like they're kind of floating in space and they spin around and you have to like do sort of a slingshot thing to shoot the bubbles at it. But it's just a pick up and play game. And it's just cool that, you know, the Oculus kind of enables that, right? Like up until now with the PSVR, if I wanted to play VR, it's just such an ordeal to get everything set up and get ready to play. But with the Oculus, you just pick it up, put it on, you're good to go. And that's an amazing thing. You know, even though, and I guess this is something maybe people might not realize about it, but I think you guys have touched on it, just that if you want to play completely, you know, without being connected to a computer, there's only so many games that can do that, right? Like usually the smaller games are compatible with being played directly downloaded directly to the Quest and played in that way, but bigger games cannot do that. So, you know, sometimes you do have to be tethered to your computer, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm buying the Room VR right now. It's the flash or the daily sale on the summer sale right now.
Oh, really?
Shit, I'll never play this week.
Interesting. Is it super cheap?
I mean, I'm going nuts because there was like the Steam sale just happened, and like this past week there was a bunch of stuff on sale. Like I don't know how often stuff goes on sale on the Oculus store, but there was a lot of stuff on sale there too, and still currently is. So it's a good time to get back under the visor.
I really want to buy a PC. It's driving me crazy. I just got to scratch the itch just so I can stop thinking about it. I just got to buy something. It's consuming.
Just do it, man.
Even if it sits there and rots, at least I'm not thinking about buying it.
So anyway, I'll probably be talking about some more VR stuff in the coming weeks, but we'll see.
Cool. Anything from anyone else?
Nope.
No, right. I haven't played Dark Alliance, but I plan to check that out in the near future as well.
All right. Well, thanks for listening or watching on youtube.com/GameJunk. And you can check out Andrew on Twitter at MyAngryCommute or EquilibriumSys. Sean is FilmJunk. Next week, who knows what will happen? Like we said, might be a Ratchet & Clank review episode. Huck might not be around, so that could be an option. And until then, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.